Hey there, this is Coach Jeff from CrossFit Seize the Day. Today's workout of the day, the first part we're going to work on is going to be a 1 1/4 front squat. So that is a squat with a weight in a racked position, front rack position. The weight today can be a barbell, dumbbells, 2 kettlebells, sandbag, backpack, anything you have that can provide some resistance in that sort of front rack position. The goal will be that we're going to do 5 working sets. We'll start a new set every 2 minutes. So you'll set a clock for 10 minutes. At the 0, the 2, the 4, the 6, and the 8, you'll begin your set. The goal will be that you'll do as many reps of the 1 1/4 squat as you can in 30 seconds. So what that means is if you have some heavy weight available to you, a barbell or a rack, you may not be able to do as many reps. Maybe you're only able to do 3, 4, 5, 6 reps in your 30 seconds. But let's say you only have a light set of dumbbells or kettlebells or a backpack available to you. Maybe you're getting out more like 8 to 15 reps in that 30 seconds. Either way, you're going to get out a good amount of work, again, but it's relative to the amount of weight you want to use. So that'll be a 10-minute workout every 2 minutes on the minute, as many 1 1/4 front squats, so that's a squat with a little pulse at the bottom, as you can do in 30 seconds. Looking to load the legs, looking to challenge the core, work on control and posture throughout a front squat. That's what a 1 1/4 squat looks to accomplish. So that'll be our first part. Our second part will be a 12-minute workout. It's an amrap, so as many rounds as possible in 12 minutes. We're going to do 1 wall walk, or if you can't do a wall walk, a bear crawl for about 20 or 25 feet. 6 single leg deadlifts. So that's 6 per leg. You'd be alternating legs. No need to use any additional weight, though you can hold on to a couple dumbbells or a couple kettlebells if you'd like to make it more challenging, but just 6 body weight alternating deadlifts for a total of 12. 12 plank jacks. So a plank jack is basically holding a push-up plank position, jumping the legs out, bringing the legs back together. So basically doing a jumping jack with the legs in a push-up position while holding nice posture. And then 12 jumping squats, basically squatting down, jumping up in the air, either landing right into the next squat or landing, standing up, and re-squatting. So those are your movements: a 12-minute AMRAP, a wall walk, 12 single leg deadlifts, 12 plank jacks, and 12 jumping squats for 12 minutes. So a lot of leg and hip movements in there, and a lot of core stability, which should be challenging for you. Okay, so let's get started and let's warm up all of these pieces. First part of the warm up, we'll just do a quick down dog Cobra stretch to warm up your hips and your lower back. So take your push-up plank position, press your hips and belly button up at the ceiling, press your head and nose and chest down towards the floor, engaging those shoulder blades. From there, you can go back into your push-up plank and into the Cobra position. I'm pushing up on my chest and shoulder blades. I'm pressing down on my hips. I'm opening my ankles so that the tops of my feet can press down. And we'll keep moving through that down dog Cobra stretch. Give yourself a good minute or two to really open those hips and lower back. We have a lot of dynamic movement today, so don't rush through that. Next thing we're going to do is some pulse squats, or the 1 1/4 squat. So take your normal squat stance, feet right under your shoulders. You can keep the hands forward or up for a balance, but remember you're going to be holding a weight in your front rack position later. We're going to sit those hips back and down. When we hit the bottom, the knees will drive out, and we're going to see a little pulsing movement, keeping the core tall and tight. Out of the bottom. So again, we're looking for that posture, hips down and back, chest and belly pushing out, hips below the knees, little pulse at the bottom, helping you learn how to control your core and your hips at the bottom of squats. When we start to add weight, you have proficiency in that movement. So do about 10 or 12 of those squats with a pulse. From there, let's look at the plank jack movement. So if I hold a push-up plank position, Arms right under the shoulders like two columns. Feet together. Glutes squeezing, legs squeezing. I'm going to jump the legs out to the widest position your mobility allows. Do that without changing posture. So straight out, straight in. Push out, push in. What we don't want to see is that the hips are really bouncing up and down. It's literally out, together. Push the outer thighs together. The butt stays tight, the legs stay tight, the core stays tight, just like they do in a regular solid plank position. Okay, so do about 10 of those. Out, in counts as one. Single leg deadlifts. So again, no weight needed in the hands. So during the workout, if you like to add some load, you can. Simply step onto one foot. You're going to hinge down to the floor, ideally touching the floor with your hands. So if your mobility and balance don't allow, you can go to some partial distance. The leg behind you will push behind. We'll come down. We'll come up. We'll pull the hip through. We'll change legs. Come down with balance, push the leg through. So what you should see is the back stays flat, the other leg extends through, push into the floor, come up. So let's do about, say, 10 of those per leg, working on finding the coordination and the balance. Again, range of motion is individualized, touching the floor if you can. If that doesn't work for you, go as far as you can with control. Bear crawl. So we're looking for a warm-up for the wall walk by doing a bear crawl. We're trying to get those hips as high over the shoulders as we can, core engaged, and think about shoulder blades pressing into the floor. So I'll start with my hands flat on the floor. I'll walk my feet as close to my hands as I can on my tippy toes. The belly button is hollowed out and pressing into the ceiling. I'm leaning over my hands, so I have weight on my shoulders. And simply we're going to step, walk, loading weight. My eyes are back here, looking between my knees. Okay. So do about 15 or 20 feet of that bear crawl movement. If you're in a room where you only have, 10 or 12 feet to go, just simply turn around and go back to where you started from. Stomach tight, hips high, hands and shoulder blades pressing into the floor. Right, so the bear crawl. Jumping squat. So if you have some knee issues, when you get to part 2, maybe we'll just do a regular squat, or you'll limit the range of motion here, but basically a jumping squat, think about doing a box jump, jumping up in the air, and then landing back down into the squat, or landing, standing, and repeating. So if I want to just do one jumping squat, I'll come down, I'll jump up in the air, I'll land, and then I'll repeat that. Or I can try to string them along, landing into the next squat, trying to keep the posture good, trying to keep balance on the feet so I can continue to do longer sets of squats. Again, personal preference, depends on your athleticism, your mobility, if you can string them along. So do about 10 of those for your warm-up. Okay? The wall walk. So if you have wall walking skills and you have a wall available to you where you are, then let's warm up a wall walk. If this is not a movement that is available to you, you can pass on this part of the warm-up because you'll be doing the bear crawl in the workout instead. But remember, a wall walk is basically starting in a push-up position in front of a wall, and basically you're going to start walking your feet and your hips up the wall, and your hands will basically take the space that's created by your hips until you get to a fairly vertical position where your nose and your chest are touching the wall with a locked out shoulder blade. Hold that position just for a moment or two to show some control, and then smoothly walk back down the same way you came up, moving a hand and then moving a leg, moving a hand and moving a leg, rather than just sliding down the wall or falling off like a cartwheel. We want to control it in both directions. So a wall walk will look like this. I'll put my feet up to the wall. I'll do a push-up, and I'll start walking up the wall with my hips. I'll get vertical, and then I'll come down, stepping until we get down. So practice one or two of those if you intend to doing that for the workout. Okay. Last thing we want to warm up is the actual 1 1/4 squat with some sort of weight. So again, if you have heavy weights available to you, barbell, if you're lucky enough to have a rack to take the barbell off of, you can rack it. If not, you'll need to clean it from the floor, or you have dumbbells or kettlebells. So let's say we have a barbell. Simply we'll clean the bar into front rack. Make sure the elbows are high, make sure the core is tight. So I'm going to take my squatting stance, and I'm simply going to squat down and back with a pulse at the bottom, making sure to keep the elbows nice and high in a good strong rack position. If I have a pair of dumbbells or kettlebells or some other object or objects, same thing. We can bring them to the shoulder, elbows high, squatting below parallel, keeping the core engaged. Okay, so let's do about 10 squats with a pulse. If your goal in today's workout is to use a pretty heavy weight, you're a good squatter, you have heavy dumbbells, kettlebells, heavy barbells available to you, you may want to do multiple sets of warm-ups just to get up to that starting weight for the workout. If you're someone who is going to start a little lighter, and then every set, because we're doing 5 rounds of work, you plan on getting a little heavier, you can really treat the workout itself as a warm-up, right? So again, do about 10 squats with a light barbell or light weights to feel it out, and then do a few more warm-up rounds if you feel you want to start the workout with a heavier load. Okay, so let's get that done. Okay, so you should be very warmed up and ready to attack this workout. So reminder, the first part of the workout, all about leg strength, core strength, and posture. 5 rounds of work, you're going to set a clock for 10 minutes. And every 2 minutes, so at the 0 mark and then the 2-minute mark and the 4, etc., you're going to give us 30 seconds of as many of those 1 1/4 front squats as you can. So we said if you're holding something that's light and you move well, who knows that you can't get out, 10, 15 or more reps in your 30 seconds. But if you chose a heavier load or you're not the fastest squatter, the best squatter, maybe you're only getting out 5 to 10 reps in your set. You'll have 90 seconds to rest before your next set. You can choose to go heavier on the next round and keep getting heavier through the 5 rounds, or you can choose to stay at the same load. If you're at lighter weights and you're cranking out higher volume, that's still going to be very challenging to you, as equally would a heavier weight for someone who's not doing as many reps because the weight is so heavy. Right, so you have 5 rounds every 2 minutes. If at some point the posture really starts to suffer, you feel things like the back rounding and the elbows dropping, you either want to consider slowing down a little bit and maybe doing a couple less reps, but with better technique, better breathing, better posture, or maybe you want to go back down to a lighter weight for control, especially if fatigue is setting in and you're finding it challenging. Okay, so 5 rounds. Once you're done with that, I would give yourself probably about 3 to 5 minutes to rest. During that time, I would stretch the legs out, do a little thigh stretch, hamstring stretch, maybe even do another down dog cobra because the back might be a little tired. And then you're going to go right into that second part workout. You're going to put 12 minutes on the clock. You're going to give us as many rounds as possible of 1 good wall walk or a bear crawl for about 20 feet or so with nice control. 6 single leg deadlifts alternating, so it's 12 total alternating. 12 of those plank jacks, out, back in, that's 1, 12 of those, and then 12 of those jumping squats. So tiring, dynamic movements, a lot of core control, a lot of hip drive, 1 or 2 rounds probably will go well, and then everything probably will fatigue, and you'll need to slow down and be a little more in control of what's going on. So 12 minutes, as many rounds as you can do. Okay, so work hard at this one. I think you're going to find it to be challenging but fun. Let us know how the workout went by just on social media using the hashtag CFSD You can send us a video, you can send us some pictures, you can let us know how many rounds you did, you can let us know how heavy you went on the 1 1/4 squats. We'd love to hear from you. So have a good workout, work hard, be safe, and we'll catch up with you next time.